Well, a very good morning to you, Leeds United fans. My name is Conor McGilligan. This is the One Leeds fan channel. Welcome back to your daily dose of Leeds United bits, chat, discourse, conversation, news, whatever you want to bracket it as. Leeds United off the back of a 4-0 demolition job in Hertfordshire. 2 away games, they said. 2 tricky away games for Leeds United. Banana skins, potentially, in Frank Lampard's Coventry. Matt Grimes coming back into proceedings. Narratives here, there, and everywhere. Watford struggled away last season. Emmanuel Dennis show. Leeds at the back and in midfield being battered physically. 2 of those games, Leeds United have gone down to these away grounds, scored 6 goals, conceded none, have come off the back of a loss to Millwall in the Cup, albeit of which Leeds United made 10 changes, had to respond. And by God, did Leeds United respond with an absolute smack in the face of Tom Cleverley's side. A double-barrel shotgun to the face of Tom Cleverley's side, where Leeds United once again could have had 7, 8, 9 goals. It was that good. Today, we're here to get through your thoughts. Today, we're here to relive, to reload what happened last night, to get in some additional points of maybe of which I missed last night. And I'd absolutely love it and really applaud you guys to like the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Shout out to Kelly, shout out to Jeff, shout out to Steve, all of which joined the One Leeds fan channel membership. You can do so, everybody, by hitting the join button next to the subscribe button below. If you are a Twitter member, if you are a Facebook member, please consider, like Adam A and many others, joining on the YouTube. A YouTube account is simple, really easy to create. You get all the added benefits as well with the algorithm. Make sure you do that with prizes coming forward as well. It's only exclusive to YouTube members. Make sure you join the One Leeds clan, which is 42 and strong. And also, guys, we've got bonus bits, including, I'm sure, a very, very happy Generation Leeds coming very, very soon to the Patreon. If you want to join the army over there in the WhatsApp group, which is in full spirits this morning, please join Chewy, who joined the other day as well, in the link in the description below. We are sponsored, as you can see on the screen, everybody, by IPM Group UK. My goodness me, I didn't even need a script for all that, and we're nearly 2 minutes in. How you all doing, everybody? Get your thoughts in the comment section below. What is going on? Just getting to a few of your comments. Can see all of the regulars in here. Here you says, call me cocky, arrogant, I don't know. I don't care. I don't see Leeds losing to anyone the rest of the way. Only team can stop Leeds is Leeds. Morning Connor, the only way is up, baby. Andy Waterman says Leeds 69 points. Got to say it again, Andy. Why do I keep hearing, would you take a point? Why only I be okay with a draw against Sheffield United because it's so advantage to them? What do you mean, mate? Smash a like and subscribe. Always seeing you in here, Danny. Top man, losing the building. How you, pal? Adrian's here. Morning, Connor. What a great performance. Dan James on fire. Lee says, morning, Connor. Are Leeds United on for 100 points? We're going to get into that in just a second, mate. Goal difference is very good indicator of a team's final position. It's starting to take shape for Leeds and the teams below the morning Des, morning Blink, morning Riley and Davey, etc., etc. Hello, guys. Right, look, we're going to get into it specifically. Some stats that I'm sure you're all going to enjoy this morning. Got the trusty notepad. Shout out to Joe Donahue. Leeds last conceded a league goal 541 minutes ago. Since we last conceded a goal, Leeds have scored 18 goals. 4 for Dan James. 4 for Joel Piroe. Let me just say, everybody, a stat that might shock you. Dan James is 4 goals behind Joel Piroe and is currently level with Isidore on 10 goals. That's true. Mano Solomon as well, 4 goals. 1 goal for Brendan Aronson, 1 goal for Jayden Bogle, 1 goal for Willie Nyonto, 1 goal for Matteo Joseph, 1-0, 1 goal for Laji Ramazani, and 1 goal for Al Tanaka. That is since we last conceded a league goal and didn't make 490 billion changes to the side. This team is unequivocally the best in the division. I say it with chest. I've been confident for a while now. I don't see the rest of them as good as good as us. I can give them the flowers in certain respects. I can look at Sunderland. I think Sunderland are the best team. That is. It doesn't mean they're the best machine at the minute, but I think Sunderland are the best team. I think Monday will be an interesting game, but there's absolutely no way they're better than us. There's just no chance. The depth that Leeds have. We're going to get into tactically why Leeds have evolved a little bit as well, in my personal opinion. But I wanted to speak in particular about the goals against. So everybody talks consistently about Burnley conceding 9 goals. So Leeds have conceded 19. off the back of, Burnley are playing a game tonight as well. They might concede against Hull, who knows? But Burnley playing tonight, we'll wait and see what happens there. But the interesting part of the comparison here is the GA and the goal, the GF as well, the goals scored. Leeds have scored 66 goals, which, by the way, should be worth 5 points in itself. Burnley have scored 37. The massive difference there is the fact that Burnley have scored 37, they've let 9 in. What's the difference between Leeds there and Burnley? Burnley were a defensively set up team. They go in to concede no goals and to not score many. Leeds United go into every game to really muller the opposition and attack and be aggressive. Okay, and we're going to get into in a little bit how that's evolved even more. But the reason I mention that is because Leeds don't go to defend, but we've still only conceded 19 goals. And we're a game week ahead of them. That is staggering. That is a statistic of which we're not taking into consideration. We don't go out to defend. They've gone out to defend and they've conceded 9 goals. We don't go out to defend and we've conceded 19 goals and scored 66. So, look, guys, we're going to reel off a few of these as well. 6 clean sheets in a row for Ilan Melie and Leeds United, of course. I always say on here that it's a unit's job. That's 4 clean sheets. Now, Leeds are 1 clean sheet behind Burnley. That is 4 clean sheets away from a club record. And we need to talk about how many more wins Leeds realistically need. That's what we're going to get into this morning. That's what we're going to really delve into. And I want to get your guys' thoughts in the comment section below. But I think right now we're in a flow state. We look so much more aggressive. We look so much more composed. We look so much more assured than we did. And right now, in my opinion, there isn't many teams that can live with us, especially when we're doing what we're doing. And now, I will hold my hands up and say I made a chronic mistake last night, a huge mistake. I came on here and probably because of the attacking intent I've seen from Al Tanaka in terms of his ability to move Leeds through the pitch. He did that for the 4th goal unbelievably well. But I gave him maybe a little bit of criticism last night. I've watched the highlights back and I was completely wrong. Look, the extended highlights, Al Tanaka was unbelievable last night and I was wrong on that front. Sometimes it happens, guys, believe it or not. Yeah, I was wrong. I thought Greve was probably the highlight package actually of the midfield and I was wrong. Tanaka was unbelievable last night. Watched it back this morning. This is why you can probably tell I'm a little bit knackered. He was unbelievable. And yeah, just in phases where he's not getting forward and being direct with Leeds. What I did miss was his combativeness with the opposition midfield, and Leeds won that midfield, but I think I attributed a lot of it last night to maybe Gruev. Tanaka was everywhere. He was absolutely everywhere, and he was unbelievable in tackles last night. Jules won. He was excellent. So, yeah, I just think the overall perspective right now, Leeds have lost 1 game in 18. In that span of time, Sheffield United have lost 4 games, just a comparison. So, 1 league game in 18, and it's a 46-game season. Just going to let that lie for a bit. 1 league game we've lost in that period of time. Leeds have lost 3 games all season. So I'm looking at the games ahead in Sunderland and Sheffield United, and we'll get onto that in a little bit. But I'm just looking at them and I'm thinking, I'm so confident. I'm just so confident going into it now. I think the interesting thing about when I'm looking at these other teams as well is maybe the fact that they're maybe focusing on Leeds a little bit. And it's, you look at Leeds and they're not that many points ahead of us when you come to Sheffield United and maybe Burnley. Obviously, Sunderland are a little bit behind us, albeit that can be closed down tonight. But I do maybe look at the opposition teams and generally looking as a Leeds fan, I think, right, okay, you've got these games tonight, but I think they'll all win. They'll all win tonight. I think they're against Hull, maybe Luton and Middlesbrough. I think they're the games that all the 3 are playing. So I think they'll win. But I think the confidence right now is it's not the teams getting back into it. It's really not. I'm not looking at Sheffield United and thinking, oh, well, they'll be, what is it going to be, 2 points behind us or whatever it would be. And Sunderland could close the gap and Burnley. I just think us, maybe unlike the other clubs, are just so good that we're so confident in ourselves. And I think unlike maybe Sunderland, Sheffield United and Burnley, I think these other teams are looking at Leeds way more than we're looking at them. I think as a fan base, it's not arrogance, it's not cocky. We're just so confident in how good we are with the evidence. Like if you've not got the evidence to back it up quantitatively and on the eye test, fair enough. Like what you're arrogant and cocky about. But when you've won 7 league games on the bounce. You've not conceded a goal in 541 minutes. You've scored 66 goals and you're currently on 69 points. And if you win 7 more games, you reach 90 points. Why the hell would you not be confident? You know, I've been critical of myself, and you know, I am self-aware, and I've been critical of myself in the past for not enjoying the journey, being too worried about the destination. And if you're not enjoying what's going on now, you'll never enjoy it as a Leeds fan. You'll never enjoy life as a Leeds fan. What's the point? We're absolutely battering teams at the minute. They cannot live with us. We've had a 7-0 in our repertoire in the last 4 or 5 games. We're winning every single game goal to nil. We're more aggressive. We're pressy. We're scoring the first goal in a hell of a lot of games now. And we keep getting told that, well, we're not that far ahead. Leeds, we'll play Joy Division. Leeds are going to fall apart again. We're just not. We're not. We're not. And look, I might be wrong, but I'm so confident right now in this team. I mentioned last night, and I think this is a key point to focus on as well. I mentioned last night the recruitment of the 49ers, and we're going to develop on that in just a little bit. But the recruitment of the 49ers, the players that we've brought in have been so good in the summer months. And apart from Manor Solomon's little blip out of the side, the stamina and the fitness that they've displayed, especially from around about mid-November onwards, has been unbelievable. Tanaka, Bogle, Solomon, so many more. You know, Aronson coming back into the setup. Firpo, I know he's been in and out, but, you know, overall, the signings and the players that came back into the Leeds setup have been so good. So good. Joe Rothwell consistently available. So I'm kind of looking at it right now. Isaac Schmidt, another one, always available. So the 49ers recruitment in the summer has been so good because they've not only brought quality in, but they've brought players in of which I was praying for with dependability and reliability. They're always there. Leeds so far don't have really more than 3 injuries in the matchday squad. And you don't need to rely on 22 players. You need to, as I mentioned last night, you rely on sort of 14, 15. So it is extremely good at the minute. And I've never been more excited for tougher games. Never been more. Why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we be excited for it? And if you don't, as a football fan, you've got to live for these moments. You've got to live for the moments of which these are the big games in whatever division you play in. And especially if your team's on pomp, on song, then why not? Why not be excited? And I think they're more worried about us right now. And I think the beauty of what's going on with right now as a collective, as a bunch of Leeds fans, is we know how good we are. We know how good we are. It's not going to be the same as last time you played Sheffield United. It's not going to be the same the last time as Sunderland. Well, you played Sunderland. Well, we're better. We're better than them. So, okay, that's fine. But let's wait and see. Hey, let's wait and see. But you better be good. You better be a lot better than last time you played against us. That's what I'll say. I think that has to land for both teams as well, because I don't think we were as good then. You played Sunderland. They were top of the division. They were on song. They were on pomp. We went there for 70 minutes. We were the better team. Obviously, a mistake at the end. We'd have got that win. Sheffield United, they didn't even turn up. They're one of the worst teams I've seen at Ellen Road this season in terms of Leeds dominating the game. So I know there's context of George Baldock that week, and it was a horrific week for Sheffield United. They lost to Middlesbrough as well that week. But they better be better. They've both got to be better because we are considerably better than what we were. So that's the context right now. And I think I agree with you in terms of where we're at. Dublin Leeds says, Connor, I had a look and we've scored 13 goals in our last 3 games. I saw your comment last night, mate, and Burnley have scored the same. The same. Wow. What a stat that is. That's mental. Jay, I've not seen you in a while, mate. How you, mate? How's it going, buddy? Good to see your face, man. It's good to see your Ellen Road badge. Sai says, first half were the best Leeds playing a long time. Mate, I agree with you, Sai. We were too good for them. I keep saying this. Do you remember the whole focus of games, lads and lasses? Do you remember we saw Coventry? We're doing it on the debrief and battle lines. We saw Coventry, we saw Watford, we saw Sheffield, we saw Sunderland, we saw West Brom, and we thought it's going to be our tricky period. This Lampard. No, it sounds daft, but Matt Grimes coming in. Lampard Jr. away from home, lost to them last season. It's another thing to bear in mind. Lost to them last season. I thought they were the better team last season. Had you right, Ellis seems destroyed us. I didn't think they competed that game. And that's not to Coventry. This is the other thing. Every team's poor against Leeds, apparently, according to some. Every team's just not good enough. How about if we're putting in the run we're putting in, the stats that we're putting in, how about Leeds are just way too good for them and they can't cope with this? They're in panic mode. And I'm going to tell you why teams are in panic mode against Leeds as well. But the Coventry win, we've reversed that. The Watford win, where they should have beaten us at Vicarage Road last season, Leeds were dying. I thought Leeds, you could just tell. We've all seen Leeds United before. That period, I think Leeds were dying. We were struggling. Bodies were being, in and out of the side. Liam Cooper was coming up against Emmanuel Dennis. They killed us in that midfield, and they've still got a very good midfield. Do not let anybody tell you that Watford midfield isn't one of the best in the division, because it is. It is. So for us to do that to them convincingly and reverse the results to an emphatic fashion shows a different Leeds this season. We've learned and we're looking good. I think one of the teams drops points tonight. Do you know what though, mate? What I'd say is I wouldn't be that concerned about it. I'm not concerned about it. Like, they can go on and, we look at, if we are to just specifically look at them, because we know how good we are, but if we are to focus on them, you've still got, obviously, Sunderland with some tricky games to come up against. Sheffield United's last 5 isn't great. They've also got Leeds to come up against. They've got Burnley to come up against, and Sheffield Wednesday and QPR away. I know we've got QPR away, but we're better than Sheffield United. We've got Middlesbrough away, but we're better than Sheffield United. So I'm not bothered about points accrued and how close they are to Leeds right now. They've had Derby, they've had Hull, they've had Portsmouth in the last 3 out of 5 games. They've not looked anywhere near it. We've had challenging games. We've had Watford away from home. We've had Coventry away from home. Sheffield Wednesday at home is not easy. Cardiff, unbeaten in 8. Coventry, by the way, 4 wins on the bounce. They've been our last 4 in the league, and they've not scored a goal against us. So that's why right now I'm full of it. So, like, coming up against the big teams, well, when we were worse earlier on in the season, in my personal opinion, when we'd not hit the rate that we're hitting now, and I'm going to tell you tactically where I think we're a little bit different. But the period that we're in at that point of the season, we still got 4 points out of these next 2 games. 4 points. So if we got 4 points again, we're still well on our way. For me, I think the cream will rise to the crop at the end of the season. I think we will piss it personally come the end of it. Stu says, I was laughed when I heard Piroe. When I heard Piroe, when someone said he would get another 10. So, yeah, no, Piroe's, mate. Piroe is the start sort of striker. Right now, I mean, he's on the way to be the Golden Boot. Is Borja Sainz right now going to outstrip him? I don't think so. I don't think Borja Sainz is just going to go on this unbelievable run from that 3. That he's obviously one of the 3 in behind the striker, isn't he? Had an unbelievable start, but I think Piroe, there's genuinely one person who I think might outstrip Piroe, and it could be Dan James. But listen, Piroe was unbelievable last night, and look, I'm not going to double down and be an absolute you-know-what about this. I thought previously Joseph should be starting in away games. Piroe should be starting in home games. You've got a workhorse, and you've also got a cultured finisher, clinical finisher, of which I've always said with Piroe, always, no matter who I wanted to start in that number 9. Right now, Piroe doesn't come out that side away from home. No way. You can't. You cannot. Look what he's done in his last 2. You can't in tough games. Piroe is stepping up right now massively. And it's not ever to change Piroe. You can't change Piroe into a pressy, overly energetic striker. And he's not a systematic player as such, but he's an individual. And in a sense, you kind of should cherish that, because you don't see that a lot in the modern game anymore. But what I will say about Joel Piroe is he should be starting every single game for Leeds United. And I will say, context applied, everybody. When I was batting for Joseph, and I still am batting for Joseph, it was more that he can offer certain things in certain games. That was really it. But Joel Piroe at the minute is unequivocally Leeds United's number 9 and thoroughly deserves it. He's been excellent, absolutely excellent. Last night, I was so happy for him as well. Just thinking last year when we won 1 in the last 6, should have finished much better. Beat Sheffield and Sunderland, and we're on. I mean, I'll be honest, mate. I wouldn't go as far as saying it, but you beat Sheffield and you beat Sunderland, it kills them completely. You outstrip them really, and you then got to think about the third. Where's the team in third points tally wise? Then I think that it's dramatically reduced, and not only that, but you've then probably got 5 more wins to 90 points in 12 games. So you kind of need to win like 40% of your games. Ash says Leeds play far too quick for teams in this league at the moment. Surely there was a dip in form at some point, though. Maybe wishful thinking as an SAFC fan. I don't think so, Ash. It's not, as I say, it's not brash, Ash. It's not brashness here. There's a lot to talk about. But every single player of ours has stepped up. And the problem is for the rest of the division is they've got a lot of quality. So we can do this thing where it's like, oh, we'll wait until the end of the season. But that's covering yourself, in my opinion, as a rival fan coming on here. It's, I'll wait until the end of the season. Well, that's easy to say, and I'm not saying you're saying this, Ash, but I'm not getting a lot from other fan bases now in terms of telling me why Leeds are going to fall apart. Why is Joy Division being played? It's wishful thinking. It's hopeful. Right now, we're the strongest team in the division. We've got the most balance, and I think there has to be a lot of credit put at Leeds' door because right now we're outstripping the parachute teams as well. Because you've still got these teams, by the way, who are in the first year of parachute payments, and their starting 11 is damn good. Whatever they'll tell you, however they've suffered, and all this sort of stuff. Sheffield United starting 11, Burnley starting 11 at this level is still very good when you're comparing it to the other teams. So, the likes of Sunderland and the likes of Leeds this season do an exceptionally good job, especially Sunderland, of course, but Leeds are just pulling away so much is outstanding. Farquhar is hitting our stride at the perfect time. Melee deserves props too. Yeah, he has, mate. I think as long as we can keep him confident, as long as we can keep Elan confident towards the back end of the season, that's where I'm at. Dublin Lee says Tom Cleverley's. Yeah. I don't know if you guys heard what Cleverley said. He literally said, from reading between the lines, he was pretty much saying we're better than Newcastle, the Colaccini team, and he said we're better than Vincent Kompany's Burnley team. That was kind of the reading between the lines. He didn't want to say it, but he mentioned those two clubs. He was saying that we're the exceptional side. So if you get an opposition manager saying that, we've got our rival manager who you can talk about it being mind games, but we absolutely battered Sheffield United last time out. Should have been more than 2. And Chris Wilder afterwards said they're essentially the league winners. So the premonition from the man who hates us the most in this division was that we're going to win the league. Was it to put extra pressure on Leeds? I don't think so. I think he knew. Morning, Connor. Buzzing this morning, 100%. The next 3 are tricky. Sunderland, Sheffield United, and West Brom. That's a banana peel. I think we'll do it. Just can't be complacent. Yeah, it's not about being complacent, Andrew. I think a lot of it's just about reading what we're reading in terms of the numbers. And how do you deny all this sort of stuff? How do you deny all this sort of stuff? It's undeniable, and that's where we're at right now. Dan James for me. Manor Solomon is outstanding at this moment in time. I wanted to touch specifically on Manor Solomon, but I wanted to then get into Dan James. So Solomon, I mentioned last night that he's more important to the press than Brendan Aronson. Brendan Aronson was his best performance of the season last night for me. He was unbelievable. But a lot of people will focus on Brendan Aronson. The most recoveries in the division by a country mile in the attacking third is who? Manor Solomon. The second per game to Manor Solomon is 0.5 behind him. 1.2 to 1.7 ball recoveries in the final third of Manor Solomon. 1.7, nearly 2 recoveries in the final third per game. So essentially breaking that down, he's robbing the opposition nearly twice a game in their own half. So he's so important. And what Leeds are doing now is, I don't know if you guys have noticed, we're so aggressive out wide. So aggressive. I've noticed it in particular. We sort of touched on it in the watch along last night, but you look at James, you look at Solomon. There seems to be like an unwavering confidence in our fullbacks now. And almost the central midfielders should just cut in and make Rodon and Piroe, let's say if he's at the centre back, and a central midfielder a back 3, which means Firpo goes, Bogle goes, James goes, and Solomon goes, right? So the wing backs are under constant pressure, which filters them inside because they can't go outside. They can't build. They panic, absolutely panic, and they either boot the ball out of play, go back to the keeper, or he spoons it in the air. But they're forced into that midfield. Leeds are forcing the opposition sides into that midfield, which basically then means you're up against Tanaka and Ampadu, or you're up against Tanaka and Greve, or Aronson's in there, who's obviously a press merchant. You're up against our midfield, of which will harry you and ultimately win that ball back. But it's so aggressive out wide now when the oppositions have the ball, and that is why Leeds are getting a lot of joy early on. Leeds are not pressing as a as sort of, we used to see it quite a bit, didn't we? It's like there's a bit of a half-assed press, and we're like, what's going on here? Leeds kind of did press and they didn't press, but right now, for me, it is, using that word again, unequivocally clear that Leeds are forcing teams out wide to be pressed. So the flanks, you see in the ball recoveries dramatically increased from Manor Solomon. Dan James is there on every touch. You saw him last night. Panic. Leeds panicked Kiembe into passing the ball blind. James is right on it. Right on it. So Leeds are pressing out wide, forcing these teams inside, of which then you've got our midfield. So that is something that I've definitely noticed, and it's looking excellent at the minute. The horror says, only doubt I have is simply because it's Leeds and we're not used to things going the way they are. We're not, mate. I agree with you. I agree. Con, if we manage to win our next 6 games, we would be on 87 points before the international break. That would be madness. Yeah, mate. Exactly. 100%, and it's one of those as well where I just want to focus on DJ as well. Like for me, you're looking right now, and look, as much as I'm like I like the technical footballers, and I don't think Ramazani and Nonto are done at Leeds. I really don't. I'm looking at Dan James now, and I'm thinking, you're a different level, mate. Like you have developed so much. I think Dan James is our most developed footballer. I think it's all well and good just saying context, championship. His all-round game's so much better. He still has his moments where he doesn't get his head up, but they are few and far between right now. His finishing's gone up. His execution when it comes to just his passing in the final third has gone up. His decision-making's gone up. I think Dan James is now a Premier League player, a fully fledged Premier League player. And I think we're seeing that. There is an argument right now that he's our most important player, which is crazy. It's absolutely crazy right now. He has developed so much. And I've always been one to criticize Dan's final product. I think his final product's gone through the roof. And I think that does transition. And he is so important if we go to the Premier League. And there is a genuine conversation right now that Leeds don't go out and recruit anything when it comes to Dan James. Because Dan James, if Leeds are under pressure, and we will be in that Premier League, that ball over the top to Dan James is Leeds' get out in the Premier League. It's Leeds' get out, and it's such a sort of weapon for Leeds United to utilise, because not only has he got that pace, has he got that dynamism and has improved so many embers of his game right now, but it helps Leeds drastically in the Premier League. So James is massive, absolutely massive right now. So yeah, and I kind of wanted us to talk about the slight, like Aragon's just said, like if it's 7 wins now, that's 90 points. Hi Connor, what do you reckon about that? Some people regard us as cheaters. I don't know what you mean, mate. As in like the animal. The word of the day, momentum. I'm not even counting the cup games. Sunderland have to come to Ellen Road and try to beat us. I don't see that happening. Yeah, I don't think Watford were bad last night, by the way. I also think Coventry came to beat us. I think Coventry came to play, and I think Watford came to play. Look what happened. I think Sheffield Wednesday came to play. Look what happened. They came to play. So they're going to have to come and play against us, Sunderland. But they're not going to come up against the team Sunderland. And they might say, well, this plays into our favour in terms of teams sitting in a little bit against them. But that's fine. But if you want to fight fire with Leeds, I still think you're going to come unstuck. I think that's going to happen for me. Bob says, hi, Connor. If Burnley don't win tonight, we're as good as promoted. Not all fearful of the next 2 games against Blackcat. I'm not at that stage yet, mate. Not at that stage yet. Connor, could be better place to face these next 2 fixtures. I'm way more excited than nervous. Macam on a mission says, can't see Sunderland getting more than a point at best at Leeds. Yeah, I think Sunderland, as I've said, we're on this channel, and I think a lot of the commenters as well say Sunderland are the, especially with Romain Mundo back, it means Enzo Lafie comes central, which I know everybody's been harking towards. But I would say as well, mate, I think you kind of have got to look at the opposition you're coming up against as well. And I'm not sure Enzo Lafie. We had Chak Fatadze last night, who... Chak Fatadze and Loser, who I think are very, very... I think they're Premier League players. Chak Fatadze and Loser are Premier League players. I'll go out there and say I think Watford have got 2 special players on the hands there. I don't think Loser is playing in the Premier... Bearing his... we see his name and all that sort of stuff, and it's funny. But Loser is not going to be playing in the Championship next season. I don't think Chak Fatadze is as well. They were completely nullified last night. And I think that's the thing when you even move Enzo Lafay centrally. Leeds are so aggressive right now, and our press for me and our style of winning that ball back, as I've just mentioned, is so focused on these wide options with Solomon and James and how good they are at recovering that ball high. They're the best in the league at winning the ball high as well. So the turnovers up there are so effective. That's backed up by stats. But on the other side of things as well now, we've got them scoring so many goals, Piroe scoring so many goals as well, that it's scary for opposition side. So they have to be so competent on the ball for us not to recover that ball high. As I've mentioned previously, Leeds were worse when we played Sunderland last time. I don't think we're as fluid as we are right now. I'm not sure Sunderland have got better since that point. And I know about Romain Mundle coming back in there. He's still got to get match fitness. And we're playing you on Monday night. We're playing you in 5 days time. So is Romain Mundle going to be able to come back in and deal with Leeds United in the way that we're playing right now, especially at home? I don't know. So the overarching point is, will Enzo Lafay, like Georgie Chapvatadze and Imran Louza, struggle against Leeds? Because I know Enzo Lafay is a top player at this level, so are those two. And they struggled massively last night. 18 goals scored in our last 6 games and 0 conceded is mad. When's the last time teams have done that? I'm not sure, mate. Rigger says Leeds have the ability to make good teams look very poor. And this is the thing, I actually got personally offended by a lot of the rhetoric last night as like Watford were poor. Like, Watford weren't great. They were not great. They were, I think, stylistically when they went up against us, how they shaped up defensively wasn't good enough against us. Very lax in passing, one touch passing out from the back, mental with our press as well. And it felt like they were trying to build with the fullbacks as well, of which we're pressing teams into oblivion right now. So that wasn't great, but Watford they tried to give us a bloody nose for that first 10, 15 minutes. And I thought they did a good job. Problem is, you've then got another sort of 75, 80 minutes to play against us. Gray says, the aggression we're consistently playing now is on a different level to anything I've seen in a long time. Tom's in the building. Hey, Tom. Graham says, I said to you a few weeks ago, we can go unbeaten towards the end of the season. Thoughts? Yeah. I mean, look, you can't. We've got, how many games have we got left? Leeds, fixtures. It always feels like this thing's 14, isn't it? So we've got 14. So let's have a look at our last 14 in the league. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. But yeah, I mean, we've not lost the league game in 14. Obviously, you guys have told me that. So going the next 14 unbeaten is likely. Is the best on with Jimmy Loser wears the other team shirt? No, that's on. Mate, don't get me wrong. This guy, we had to have a conversation at the start of the season. Guys, if any of you can clip some of what this geezer said, he put 6 Sheffield United players in ahead of Leeds players. We had 5 in that team. Not only that, the amount of stick he was giving us on this channel when they were ahead of us at the start of the battle lines, of which you guys are all very aware of, the amount of stick he was giving us. Oh, can't see you down there. Oh, we're ahead of you. What's this with Leeds? Oh, yeah, you're still not gonna be top though. Blah blah blah. And he's now gaslighting us, fellas. He's now gaslighting us. He's saying stuff like, "Oh, now they're all bragging. They're all being very braggadocious about being top of the league." Hold on, you were doing that. You were doing that when you were top of the league, mate. Can we not be proud of it? And we're arrogant now. And guys, the amount of you guys in the comment section that were calling this man arrogant, I had to mute a couple of people. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. I had to get rid of them because of the amount of people who were calling this man arrogant when they were top of the division. So you got to take it now, lads. And don't worry, clips will be made. But yes, he will be wearing a Piroe number 9. Kiefer Moore, apparently, is better than Piroe. This level of delusion we're living with, lads. He'll be back tomorrow to face the music. We should win the next 2 games full of confidence right now. 100%, mate. Over 400 watch, 68 likes. Come on, folks, show some. But yeah, really appreciate it, guys. I think we've got, how many have we got? We've got over 700 of you watching, 900 on all platforms. Please make sure you transition over to YouTube. Really appreciate it. It means you get all the added benefits of the algorithm as well. Watford pinged the ball around well. I think against 90% of teams in the league, they would have got joy last night. Leeds just, yeah, I met Chad Vatadze. He was trying to get into the game. He was moving from the left to the right, centrally. But a lot of the time we're just forcing him back. Like Loser and Chakvetadze is a partnership. They need to sort out other things. I can't believe Sissoko starts for them is mad. But that midfield they've got embellished Deli Bashiru, Loser, Chakvetadze. It's a good midfield. It's a good midfield. Tom says, Connor, would you say we are already a bottom half Premier League side? Well, statistically, we are at the minute, mate. Monday's back for us. Hopefully that will make our attack click. We miss it. I get that, Reese. It's just going on here. It's my thing. I'm on it. I agree, mate. It's just whether or not he's in and he's ready to come up. I mean, he's not, with the greatest of respect, he's not coming in and facing Plymouth, is he? Plymouth are doing all right at the minute, aren't they, in terms of momentum? But he's not coming up and doing that. He's coming up against Leeds at Ellen Road. So yeah, he might make you better. It's just whether or not he's able to click into gear straight away, which is what he's going to do. Oh, he says, I feel for Joseph. You can see his confidence is absolutely shot to bits. He struggles to control the ball out. Yeah, he's struggling, mate. He is struggling. And like I said, we've called it out on this channel. He came on last night, and look, you call it out on the channel. It's not like I'm hiding from it. I've just backed the kid. You know, been shot in the arm because I've backed the kid. But, you know, said last night wasn't good enough when he came on. Wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough against Millwall. We said all of this. Said all of it, you know. But I did, in all fairness, say that you know, in certain games Joseph should be starting, but now it's not. Michael in the building. Shout out to Michael. Yeah, shout out to you, mate. Monday's going to be interesting. Totally agree, mate. Riggers says I'll be back in Canada at the end of the March. Yeah, man, good man. Just watch the Blade Ramblers. Your mate Jimmy has about resigned himself to wearing the Leeds shirt. Yeah, he's going a bit quiet all of a sudden, isn't he? Connor, you were Fark out? No, I wasn't, Kev. It was never said. And it really irritates me when people say this. Find me the clip where I said Farker out. Was never said. Can be gaslit. I can be gaslit. Every single OG on this channel will tell you that was never, ever said. Never, ever mentioned. I can criticize Daniel Farker without wanting him out. Never, ever, ever said on this channel. Not once. Connor, do you think Pascal comes back in? 100%, mate. 100% I do for Sunday. Yeah, gives us more strength in depth as well. Michael says, seriously, though, you guys are a different level to most in the league. As a Sunderland fan, sort of looking forward to Monday, but dreading it as well. Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, that's the thing. Like, these are the games that you live for, in a sense, aren't they? You know, at this level, you've got to be thinking to yourself, that these are the games that you sort of live for, really. You know, at this level, like, with the greatest of respect, you kind of want to be playing the upper tier teams. Leeds and Sunderland, probably the biggest teams in the division as well. You know, you want to be playing up against this game. It's got the atmosphere, though. My God, the atmosphere on Monday night is going to be bouncing. It's going to be absolutely bouncing. Loads of comments in as well. Everybody, yeah, keep slapping them in and we'll have a look. This wasn't supposed to go on this long, but here we go. Graham Hume, I read somewhere that in circles we're getting a reputation as cheating. There's a cheating side, e.g. I don't know what you mean, mate. I've not seen that. I've not seen that whatsoever. You'll have to let me know. Bellingham has a lot of space in the box at Stadium of Lights. I think Farker goes unchanged. Grove, I think you're right, Jamie. I think Grave's going to be in there for that one. But then Ampadu's out, because I think you've always seen with Farker that he wants. In fact, no, I agree. I disagree with that. I don't think Grove will be in there, because I think Farker wants to. He's pretty much said it in his press conferences that he wants to see Strauch in. The Farker loves Strauch as much as for some reason people don't rate Strauch, which I think is completely bizarre. Strauch comes back in, and then Ampadu goes into midfield for me. Hey, mate. Yeah, all good. All good. All good, my man. Shout out to you, pal. Shout out to Darren and Dill. Cork Irons in the building. I said it before. If we're on top match first, we'll win the league. Have the best run. Yeah, we've got. That's the thing. Bob says Connor is always Joseph in, but never Farker in. Never happened, mate. Never happened. Connor, mate. There's been so many fans that have doubted DF. Now they are flip flopping. That's fair enough, mate. That's fair enough. I think there's people on this chat, 100%, Chris Kingy and the gang, who are Farker out, but we welcome that. I'm not going to ban him. I'm not going to ban people who don't rate Farker. I'm not going to do it. But me facilitating on the chat Farker outers doesn't mean that I'm Farker out. It's never once been said. Never ever once been said. What would you do if Piroe if we go up, mate? I tell you what, James, he's putting a claim in right now, isn't he? I think the only thing with Piroe is it's the athleticism and physicality of the Premier League, and I do think we have to have a little bit of a look at the Premier League a little bit differently to how we're looking at the Championship. I think that's just obvious. We've got to do that. I think we can't be that naive to go into the Premier League and think because everything's going right now, it's all going to go right in the Premier League. We understand that's 3-4 levels up, significantly up. But I think personnel-wise, we're more suited to the Premier League than any other side. I think we've got more balance and more quality. For me, is his name Jim Bob? Sounds like an Alabama redneck, mate. It's my nickname for him. My biggest worry now is the international break. Don't worry about Aragon. It's going to give us. The thing is, mate, how I'd look at it when it comes to the international break. We had Millwall lost, made 10 changes. So you've then got the starting 10 having a break, and albeit they're going to be going on international duty, I know that, but they're resting from the Leeds game. I don't think all of them are going to be playing international football as well. But yeah, we've got to sit there and hope. But I do think that Leeds team are going to come back, and whatever the outcome, I think we're still strong enough. I still think we're strong enough to go up. Do you think we sign Solomon if promoted? It's just injuries. It's just injuries. That's it. We'll have to wait and see. Tell Jim Bob we're coming in for him. Mate, if they don't go up, Leeds are 100% going in for him. 100% going in for him. I'd be stunned if we didn't. Honestly, can't see us losing another game, says Matt, this season. Solid at the back and scoring for fun. I agree. Listen, guys, we're going to leave it there. I didn't want to waffle on for too much this morning because I wanted it to be short because I've done my video last night, the instant match reaction. But what I did want to say is, the argument of us, this is kind of my point from the whole window. And I do kind of want to put a plug on this after the 2 games we've played and we've looked excellent, is kind of why we didn't need this number 10 in January. I said on the streams on deadline day, we'll wait and see what happens in terms of performances going forward. And I'm sticking by it now. A lot of people are absolutely loving Piroe. I've backed Piroe and Joseph in terms of the partnerships that we need going forward as the number 9. I don't think we need anything else right now at this level. The number 10, Piroe's got 20 goal involvements. James has got 16 goal involvements. Solomon's on 15 goal involvements. Aronson's on 10. Nonto's on 10. Firpo's on 8. Bogle's on 6. So that's what I mean by the 10 and the 9. This is why I wasn't concerned whatsoever. And this is why we're seeing the hysteria now. Leeds going into every game and we should be winning by 7. Should have beaten Coventry by 7. Should have beaten Watford by 7 last night. Did do Cardiff 7. This is why we don't need them. And the old adage of, well, what happens if Aronson gets injured? Well, what happens if blah, blah, blah? Well, don't worry about it. Because what if Borough loses Az? What if Sunderland lose Isidore? What if Sheffield United lose Hamer again? What then? These what ifs can be applied to so many different teams, but the beauty about Leeds is the depth. And as we're seeing now, and hopefully more people are seeing that now, which is great. What do you think about USA boy? I think he was brilliant last night. I thought it was his best game. Best game in a Leeds shirt for me. Get Tri-Hume if Sunderland don't go up. I like him. I like Tri-Hume. I've always badgered on about Tri-Hume. But what I will say about Tri-Hume is, does he get ahead of Bogle? I'm not sure. Right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. Listen, tonight we are going to be doing a watch-along on the second channel for all 3 games. All 3 games. So it's going to be a bit of a Sky Sports, Conor McGilligan focus. Make sure you join me on the second channel. Conor McGilligan, you'll see it in the link in the description below. It's the first line. Make sure you do that. Check out IPM as well for all your security needs. Everybody, keep it in the Leeds United community. It's been an absolute pleasure. And I will see you tonight for all of the Championship watch-alongs on the second channel. Cheers, guys.